Hello and welcome to another video. This one's going to be slightly different because I didn't actually record this at the time that it happened. This is a sort of spliced together of a couple of replays because what happened in this race was totally unexpected. Yes, you join us on the grid here as we line up for round 2 of the LMGT3 Fixed Championship at Spa in Le Mans Ultimate. As you can see from the windscreen wipers, it's raining. The rain for some reason doesn't actually show up on the replay, but it is, I assure you, raining. You'll see when we go in car that the rain has started to come down. So it starts as a damp race. It gets progressively wetter towards the middle and then dries up quite a lot towards the end, so it's very much mixed weather conditions. We qualified 4th, which at the time I was delighted with, I have to say, to be 4th on the grid, and I was really the best I was hoping for out of this race was maybe I could push for a podium. So let's see how it unfolded, shall we, as we head down into the first corner, getting our noses in between the two leaders there, and third place there, Goller running wide, which means after the first corner we're straight into second place, chasing the leader down towards Eau Rouge. And I'm thinking right now, let's see if we can get in his slipstream, but I am far too cautious into Eau Rouge, and rather than being in the slipstream of the leader, I'm just going to get swallowed up by Goller, who immediately gets his second place back, sending it round the outside on the Kennel straight there. And I try to kind of outbrake him a little bit as we go into this right-hander, but he's just got too much overspeed, and I'm back down into third place. Still, it's a positive start. I'm fairly happy at this point, third place. I'm just thinking, let's hang on to these two up front. At the end of the day, I started 4th, so I've gained a place. I just want to hang on to these two as long as I possibly can, because there's always a chance that they'll make a mistake. There's always places to be gained in these races. It's why you should never ever rage quit. Even if you're running at the back, right until the last lap, things can happen. Places can be gained. So right now I'm just trying to keep it smooth, trying to feel out the grip a little bit as well. Obviously it doesn't show up quite on these shots, but it is a damp track, so you're very much feeling out where the grip is at this point. And you can see Goller there, he's closed right up onto Jamie Logue, the leader, having a little sniff up the inside of him there. And again, I'm just thinking, keep with them, you never know what can happen. See the rain starting to come down a little bit heavier, and as such I'm just going to give it a little lift through this corner, which I thought was fine, but you see the car behind me really just kept his foot planted through there, and it takes me by surprise. There's a little bit of contact there as we go into the bus stop, but this is where it all happens. See the leader there, Jamie Logue, just loses the back end of the car, spins it, and he actually tags Goller as he goes around, which means I can get up the inside of Goller into this first corner. I just need to get my braking right, which I do, and I'm in first place, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe my luck right now. From 4th to 1st. Here you see a replay of it from the trackside view. Jamie Logue just spinning there, he just tags Goller, and Goller actually does amazingly well to keep the car on the track, but he does lose a lot of speed down the straight, which means I can just zip up the inside of him. I did have to take to the outside of the track to avoid the spinning Jamie Logue, but I think that's fair enough. I don't think that's an overtake off the track by any means. You know, Goller getting tagged there really, and him losing the speed was what caused the overtake to happen. But I am absolutely delighted at this point. This is, I think, the first time I've led a race since my return to sim racing, so my heart rate is going right now, I tell you that. But, you know, it's all about staying calm, keeping my head, keeping focused, hitting those apexes. As the rain continues to come down, track getting slower and slower, you can see Joachim Rauch there having a little look at Goller as well. These were, I think, the two fastest cars in the race, really, on overall pace. And I'm just wanting to keep my nose ahead of them, hoping that perhaps they'll have a little battle between each other, which will allow me to pull away a little. But as you'll see from the next shot there, there's not much of that happening. They're both quite comfortably keeping pace with me. As the track now, you'll see, starting to get a little bit wetter, starting to kick up some spray. It's got to be said that the wet track effects and the dynamic track effects in Le Mans Ultimate aren't the greatest. They're pretty average, to be honest. The track just gets slippy. There's not much else that happens in it. You know, there's no dynamic puddles or anything like that. It's still a challenge, of course, a slippy track, and figuring out where the grip is, especially as a drying line comes in later on in the race. But for the most part, they're pretty basic track effects. Maybe something that LMU need to try and improve on. You can see there in the rear view mirror, Goller all over the back of me, and Rauch behind him, all over the back of him. Little lift through there again, and Goller's just nudging up behind. He's going to have a look in bus stop, but I'm a little bit braver on the brakes. Managed to get it into the corner. And I think at this point, Goller he's a little bit frustrated. You see, he's a little slow out that corner. I get a much better drive out of that corner. And he's just going to go a little too deep into here, which puts Rauch all over the back of him. And I thought for a moment these two were going to come together as we go down to Eau Rouge. They're side by side, but I think Rauch just backs out of it, thinks the better of it, live to fight another day, which proved to be a very wise decision on his part. As we head down the Kemmel Straight, you see the spray in the mirrors there. But I've got a comfortable little gap now. I don't need to worry too much about what's going on behind me. Just hit my marks again. I'm pretty pleased right now with how this race is going. I've just got to keep my focus. This is a little bit further around towards the end of that third lap. You see I've pulled out a lot, maintained that gap, probably is the best way to put it, to Richard Goller. And once again, he's just going to go a little too late, a little too adventurous on the brakes. Goes deep into the corner. And then can't get it turned out with bus stop, has a little waggle there, and suddenly Rauch is all over the back of him again. Seems to be struggling in these conditions. Goes defensive, but then again, just too late on the brakes, too deep into the corner, and Rauch has the position from him. And really, you know, Goller has been pretty quick during this race. It's just his consistency that's let him down. 2 or 3 big mistakes from him, and he's back down into third place. And it's given me a nice little cushion to second place. It's about 2.5-3 seconds. You'll see the gap visually as we come down the Kemmel Straight in the moment. There it is. And it's a gap that proved to be crucial, because here we are late on in the race. You'll see it's pretty much completely dry now, but everybody is still running around on wets. There was no point pitting, it would have cost too much time. So we're running around on wets on what is largely a dry track. And as you can see, Joachim Rauch has reeled me in. It was about 2.5-3 second gap, and he slowly, as the track dried out, he's just seemed to find the grip better than I did. And he's just slowly but surely reeled me in, lap after lap after lap, until coming into this is the penultimate lap. We're coming into the final lap now as we head into the bus stop chicane. He is all over the back of me. So my palms are sweaty, my heart is going right now, because this would be my first win. One of very few wins I've ever had, to be honest, but my first win since coming back to sim racing a couple of months ago. It's a very unfamiliar position for me, and there's a lot of pressure on right now with that BMW sniffing around on my rear bumper. And one place he has definitely been quicker than me. He's been through Eau Rouge. I try and keep my foot as planted as I dare, and I actually thought I had a pretty decent run through there, but as you can see, he once again gets a better one. He's pulling up on my bumper in the draft, and I just have to go defensive, try and keep him round the outside of me, which I just about managed to do. Again, it's so close. Running through here on the final lap. Everybody else is about 10 seconds back at this point. It's just me and him. And it's been really, really fantastic racing as he's reeled me in through the duration of this 45-minute race. And I'm just trying to hit all my marks right now, trying to ignore the fact that there is a monstrous BMW behind me. Here we go in replay then. This is the view from his cockpit as he tries to send it around the outside, but I think that's good defensive driving from me. I thought he might just try and make it stick around the outside, but he didn't quite have enough of the car alongside me. Has a little sniff down the hill at that right-hander as well, but can't quite make it stick. So here we go, last series of corners then. This is Pouhon. We get through Pouhon again. He's having a little look up the inside into this chicane. But I know I've just got 2 or 3 corners. I just need to hit my mark in the next 2 or 3 corners and I can keep him behind me. This is the crucial one. Get the run out of here. Get it turned in. Absolutely fantastic. He has a little twitch out of there as well. You can see he's just dropped back. Then at this point I'm thinking, I think I've won this. Quite remarkably. I just need to get this last corner right really, and then hit my braking point into bus stop, which I do. Hit the apex. Right now I know I've won it. Plant the accelerator at the start, finish straight. We get a little flash of acknowledgement from behind from Joachim Rausch. We had a really good race with him all the way through. And that's it. My first win in LMU, my first win since returning to sim racing. I'm delighted. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more. And I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you very much.